think Dream's better. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. We're going to start this out on Judgment. So, I don't know, man. Let's see what happens. Bear in mind, Rogue style, very specific. He won one game with the Roachling all in. He won the other using drop and harass. I can only imagine Dream is going to be hyper vigilant against those two strats.
Yep. It's my first time actually casting Judgment. It's a GSL exclusive map, so that's always going to be exciting. It's Dream's map pick, and usually players actually ban the GSL exclusive maps. It's not going to happen this time.
I know, right? Normally it doesn't. Normally it's not like that. So let's see what these guys got in store for us, guys. Remember, no Zergs are in the round of 16. The winner of this moves on. It'll either be Dream, a Terran, or our first Zerg Rogue. In the upper right, in the blue, he is
SK Telecom T1, Dream.
in the bottom left, in the red.
Jin Air Green Wings, Rogue.
Rockin' Rogue.
I want to ask you a question, Tasteless.
Yeah, you can ask me
I talked
anything.
I talked to Velas about this a little bit last night. You know how we have in other genres of games, there's like a draft, like bands and picks for heroes or something like that. I feel like the map picks that we have could be something that would be really cool to actually have televised, where you have like the players on stage and they like choose their maps and there's like a screen that shows what they're banning and picking.
I think the only reason why we don't do that is a restriction on time.
Yeah.
Because we got enough people that work down here at the studio that have to take the train back, and if the games go past that time, then we can't get them home.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming down to the studio, guys. Welcome.
Very good Korean. So, yeah, just something to think about, because, like, for example, we're getting kind of deep into this, but we saw the cheese from Rogue in the previous series versus Alive on Dust Towers. That was Alive's map pick. This is now Rogue bans Dust Towers. So clearly something is shown here that he doesn't like to play on this map, specifically with his playstyle right now in this matchup. So there's like some conclusions we can draw here. And if he has to play in the final match, perhaps, on Dust Towers, that's something that we'll have to keep in mind and look back at as to kind of how these maps are being picked and chosen here. By the way, overall, Rogue is 6-1 versus Dream. And they have played, only one series in Legacy of the Void, it looks like, which was a 2-0. So not a lot of history between these two. I think part of the reason why this is the case is because Dream is not being fielded in Pro League. He has not had the best results this year compared to what he had last year. And I personally favor Rogue. It's kind of
weird because, well, the thing is that Dream is on SKT, which is a really good team. I mean, they have like a disproportionately top-heavy lineup.
But not in round 3. They were in last place for most of the round.
That's true, but that was also very weird, right? That was like really, 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 really weird. What does that say?
Actor name Char Crystal.
What?
Someone messed up the code on that one.
What? Actor named Char Crystal.
Listen, that doesn't even look like a crystal that would be on Char. The planet is made of fire. That looks like an ice crystal.
Yeah,
someone dropped the ball on this one.
I could not just read that out loud. That's what that is titled.
Like, it's confirmed that destructible rocks are coded as actors, Tasteless.
That's right.
We just learned.
They could have. There's two of them. There could have been caster name Tasteless and caster name Wolf. See which one they destroy first. Yep. Hopefully it's you, Wolf. I don't know.
There used to be, by the way, wolf statues in the game on Metalopolis, the map. I felt like really special when that was
part
the case.
Of the action there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's see what happens this game. I feel like Rogue's style is so specific and actually quite different from the other Zergs, and that's what worries me. Just because Dream's been able to see these games. If Dream was maybe playing first, maybe. There wouldn't be much that you could do to stop this, but in this case, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried.
Look at Dream is like making a blind bunker in a siege tank.
Yeah, what is up with that?
It looks like TY in the booth right now with this play style. He's like just too scared that Rogue's going to do something cheesy against him.
That's really interesting, yeah, because there is, as you said, there's a bunker back there, which is a bit curious. I guess he really is afraid of some kind of cheese or bust here because, oh my God, what is going on?
Wow, the Korean commentators really synced up that for that moment.
Oh, wait, we're back in
I think it was just our observer, so I think the players were still fine based on the fact that we jumped.
They didn't seem to react on their faces at all.
Yep. So I think everything is fine. Everybody at home can just relax.
Everybody just relax.
No picnic.
No picnic, guys. No picnicking back at home. So he's going to come out here with his tank harass. Let's see how much damage he can do with this.
He's making a second tank, which will initially be used for safety. And this SCV is so cool. It sees if a push is coming, if he needs to turn around with that tank back or not.
Oh, quick, hit him. You're actually in front of the tank. You can just do damage to it.
He scratched it one time.
Now, these Lings are actually
Am I?
going
Is
out-
this deja vu? Is he going to do another double Ling drop here?
I think so. Yeah. Now,
Am I in Groundhog's Day right now, Tasteless?
yeah, this is where you just keep casting the same game. Eventually, you're so good at casting at this point in time, like your cast is so good, people are crying. You have to like just solve your existentialist crisis by just becoming the greatest caster and never giving up. I haven't seen that movie in a while. I got to watch that.
You
again.
and I have to like fall in love for us to break the curse.
That's right.
I'm stuck with you, Tasteless,
I'm like,
forever.
Wolf, I know everything about you. We're like at 7-Eleven drinking beer after the cast. Like, Wolf, I know that when you were 5, your teddy bear was named this. And Wolf, I just need you to love me, man.
That's a great movie. I highly recommend it. Anyone who hasn't seen it. Bill Murray, great actor.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh no, actor named Char Crystal will be destroyed.
Okay, he's going to try to come in here with these 2 tanks. Okay, so
Here's the 2
let's see
Ling
if we can
drop
learn.
again.
Now, the thing is, there's no Banelings in with this, so it doesn't seem to do as much damage as you would expect, and this is going to force the tanks to come around.
This is like, he's playing tennis with these Terran players where he basically harasses them, forces their army back. If the Terran tries to attack, he has enough queens to defend. The queens scale into the late game because they start to work with the ultras.
Dude,
they get in the creep spread. This
yeah.
playstyle is really intelligent from Rogue. I'm liking it a
I
lot.
think that's a pretty acute observation about this Wolf. But I'm just weirded out that it's a bunch of Lings. These Lings never do a lot. I mean, it's not hurting, but it's not doing a lot.
Yeah, I feel like
You know
adding
what I mean?
two. I feel like adding 2 Banelings is so good.
Surely there's a reason why maybe he just in the build he can't afford the Banelings. I'm still trying to get used to this style of play that Rogue has brought to us in an attempt to try to. It does seem a little bit odd, right?
Let's theorycraft into I'm going to break down some of the finer points of what he's doing. He's always getting the armor first, on that off one eBay or off one evolution chamber, while spreading creep. I think what this Ling harass accomplishes, it's not designed to do damage. It's designed to create space for him to have this creep spread without abandoning nest. It allows him to get his lair, get his tech, get his upgrades, because he's going towards this Ultra Queen comp and later on Vipers. And I think this is just creating space. It's not meant to like kill Dream or do a bunch of damage, which I thought initially maybe with a double drop we might see more commitment.
I think you're right. It just I'm not used to it, but even though it doesn't like end the game if it works, it does seem to keep the Terran a little bit busy. And look at the creep over here, man.
Exactly.
He's already halfway across the map.
It starts to feel like these Ling drops serve the same function as a Mutalisk harass. It keeps a Terran back, it buys space, but you can do it much earlier because you can get that Overlord tech off of just the Evo chamber. 15 active creep tumors right now. With all the queens he's building, they scale into the late game. They're buffed. They do more damage to medevacs right now. They can be used defensively. And with this much creep, you can get your queens back and bounce between your bases. I'm starting to really feel the build a little bit. I feel like I'm getting to 18% of understanding, but I'm starting to kind of get there on this one.
No, I hear what you're saying, man, because initially I was a little bit off put by even when the drops got in there, not much happened, but I guess it does keep Terran honest, right?
Yeah.
It does keep Terran on his side of the map. Like, listen, don't leave your base, buddy.
Yeah, this time it's going to be Banelings.
You were in timeout. Well, I guess if he's got the creep push this far,
you can't even harass the creep and then pick up anymore because of the queens. Oh, this is smart. This is a reaction. This is what you're talking about, where you watch the games and you start to learn how the build is being played, and you make a bunker. Oh, send the SCVs back a little bit too soon, but coming over here as well. Oh man, this is 12 SCVs killed. So much damage. The crowd, again, a big Rogue-favored crowd right now. They're going wild after every SCV kill. This is very impressive stuff that we're seeing right now. And Dream has not touched this creep. This is the best creep we've even seen in this series.
We've seen it, I think, in Code S.
Yeah.
This is the creep is so far spread. It looks like it's one of the single-player campaign missions where the Zerg is on the entire map.
It's like the AI is making the creep. There's Automaton 2000 in there.
Yeah.
There was a player we had on NS Host that was really good at spreading creep, like Seal or something like that. This is rivaling his creep spread. This is amazing.
He's not paying attention. A little sloppy there for both the players.
Wasting those. But this run by here, the wall is not up. Oh, it's not even tight anyways.
Yeah, the wall's not even tight.
And this is actually what I'm talking about. Usually Ling run-bys don't do that much, but when you have this many, you can definitely turn it.
Oh.
The Widowmine, though.
Oh, actually good spread there.
He actually targeted the CC for a second as well. Kind of a weird choice.
Kind of funny looking.
Actually, I don't think Dream can. I don't think Dream can push this. Yeah,
oh
he can't push because there's too many queens. There's too many queens. Tasteless. He's losing too many SCVs at home. This is too much damage. This is actually starting to be game-ending damage here.
Look at this.
And now he's got a split here, but there's way too much Zerg. There's so many queens at the bench. Tasteless. Rogue playing like a god, playing like the last Zerg in this tournament, wants to get out of the group.
I can't believe
Look
it.
at this. He's going to kill the last of the Medivacs.
There it is, GG!
Whoa!
Sick!
Rogue
Damn.
playing out of his mind right now. And this play style, I think may become, this ling drop style may become a
I
standard.
think everything on the ladder this whole week is going to change if you're playing Zerg, because this guy just solved the Zerg problems for you.
He turns those drop overlords into mutants, man.
Let's flesh this out, because we were having to kind of get our grips on this as we were watching it initially, too. He uses these link drops to kind of keep Terran honest, right?
Yeah.
But while he's doing that, he's making a bunch of queens, which is not a waste because he gets Ultralisk later on. While he has his other queens and he's not using Transfuse, he gets the map covered in creep. Because the map's covered in creep, Zerg is able to really push a threat on the possible fourth base, at least on that map. But I would say, dare I say, just about any map.
And I think my prediction it kind of came true here.
Yeah.
I think Dream's play is weaker than Alive's in this matchup. That's why we saw such a dominant performance from Rogue here. We start to see how the build is designed, why it's made this way. In the previous series didn't look as good because he wasn't successful with it. But against Dream, he crushed him, and we start to see why it works and why it's powerful.
I mean, Rogue just Hulk smashed him in that last game. Guys, Dream can't make any more mistakes. If Rogue wins this series, he's the first Zerg to survive the round of 16 in the GSL. In the bottom right in the blue, our Terran player, 1 of 3.
SK Telecom T1, Dream.
Tough times for SKT right now.
Over here, our Zerg player in the red. He is.
Jin Air Green Wings, Rogue.
Very much the crowd favorite, and with this playstyle, he's really inspired me myself in this matchup, showing Zergs the way on this new patch.
Well, this is the thing. You got to be careful, if you patch too fast, because people do figure stuff out. I think especially in 2016, where everybody thinks that they're an expert on games because they can post on a forum somewhere. And air their grievances and complain about this or that. You gotta take a step back with that, because people do adapt. Because you see, even in Codex, guys, just because you see them doing this now, doesn't mean that they can't change and figure this out. This is why we love RTS games, is that people do figure this stuff out. We've been casting at the ASL, and by the way, if you're watching this, definitely check out the ASL. That's
amazing
the
tournament.
StarCraft 1 tournament we just launched. It's a sister tournament to the GSL. And we'll have that starting again on Sunday. But, that game has been patched in a long time, and it's basically perfectly balanced. So,
yeah.
But you can see a moment like this. Rogue is playing in a very different way, and he's having, these are really scary Codex Terrans. They are not able to stop him. Even though it seems like they know what he's trying to do, it's too tough to deal with. And this is what's always exciting about specifically the StarCraft franchise overall, is that people do adapt. People do change and recover and come up with new ways to see the game and to show us ways that we can win on our own.
And I think too many people, again, there's people that you think who think themselves are experts at video games that they don't even play that often, are talking. I think when you look at results of tournaments, especially at the highest level here in Korea, you really need to be looking at individual players. Maybe the Terran players just practice harder, and they want to, and the Zergs aren't playing as well because they're not practicing as much. This isn't necessarily balanced. You can't look at results and indicate that that's balanced.
Well, the thing is, even though these are the best of the best, it's a very small pool, right?
Yeah.
And
I think you need to be looking within the games, the builds, the strategies, what's getting value within the games. Looking at a W or an L on a Liquipedia page does not really indicate where balance is at.
Well, I think, stats can be fundamentally just really misleading. But I think it's one way that a layman can attempt to claim knowledge. And it's not like their stats don't mean anything, right? They're definitely some value to them. But you can move numbers around to kind of make any claim that you want, you know. And correlation and causation are not always the same thing. So that's something else to keep in mind. But we look at how Rogue's playing. I don't feel like we've seen Zergs play quite like this yet. And it's super cool to see this style coming out here from Rogue, and he's succeeding with it. And this goes to show you, why Rogue is a very important player to have for the Jin Air Green Wings. He's very, very good.
Yeah, breaking down what he's doing every game, he's going for this double Overlord with Speed Scout. That synergizes, of course, later on with the drops that he plans on doing. He gets the Evolution Chamber here around 350, as you can see. He gets the Evolution Chamber up, gets the drops ready. Those 2 Overlords, the same 2 Overlords he uses to scout, which, by the way, every Zerg is using these same 2 Overlords. The first Overlords you send out, they're already where they need to be because you sent them to scout. Speed gets them where they need to be, so you get that 350 Evo Chamber. Look at this, it lines up, finishes here. He goes double, drops. They're going to start in just a second. You see him on the production tab. Goes for the double Overlord drop. Now this starts to give a little bit of pressure. Oh, against lesser Terrans, against Terrans on the ladder, this probably wins the game for you sometimes. But against an SK level Terran in Dream, this is just again going to buy him pressure. It's pressuring him so he can continue to spread his creep. Really amazing style that we're seeing here. And even if you know it's coming, I think this is going to become a standard thing to do.
Dude, I get so excited casting stuff like this where I'm like, all right, now we're learning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as you can see, it seems like all the Terrans like to get this double medevac drop. And so
he's got the queens ready for that. You know?
He has the queens ready.
He's prepared.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And those scale well into the late game, as I said several times earlier. This time he has the fake Overlord to scout to see how much defense there is. Gives Dream a false sense of security. And he's chasing these drops down. Dream needs to get ready because the Lings are coming. And again, this is just pressure, but if he messes it up, this could win the game for Rogue. He has a Widowmine here, and he needs to burrow it. Oh my god, this is so much damage already.
He's not burrowing that Widowmine.
He's just like running. The Widowmine's
what is that Widowmine doing? He's actually moving it.
He will finally deal with this. Queen's going to push us back. He needs to target the medevacs. This is actually a lot of Marines this time. He did not target the medevacs. He doesn't have any banelings. Again, he cuts that out of the build to have more gas to tech up to his lair that he gets faster, his +1 armor that he gets every game, and this is a big problem.
Now he can keep transfusing these queens. Is he going to be able to get one
This is actually, I think, maybe an overcommit by Dream.
Yeah,
Can he actually keep staying here? I think this... He hurts the queen count,
God,
but now
he cannot pick that up.
No, he's staying too long.
Oh!
That's just... I mean...
Okay.
I'm kind of speechless here. He stayed way too long. He killed 4 queens, and that... But now Rogue doesn't have to worry about anything. All the Marines were killed.
And here's the thing, Wolf. They were not killing drones.
No.
I mean, you need to be killing drones and overlords and creep tumors. If you're trading with the army, it is not hard to remake those queens, by the way.
Yeah, he's trading money for transfuse energy.
Yeah, I mean, you're not making, you're not hatching queens out of the eggs. Like, oh no, I'm not making drones. Like, you could just get that right back. So this is really interesting.
He hit that before combat shields too, so those Marines didn't have enough hit points to really fight even against the queens. And Rogue has enough Lings to keep dropping, keep spraying the creep. Now, the one thing that this gains for Dream is that the creep can't spread as well as he would in the previous series because there's not enough queens to keep spreading that. Need to go back and inject for larva. This is going to be a pretty terrifying drop. Oh,
wow, man. 8 drones. You really can't do better than that.
No, you really can't.
Whoa. He's going to come in here with these Lings. The queen is taking a lot of damage, but he's still hitting this medevac. Another medevac comes in here.
And this drop will be finally pushed away, forcing a Spore there as well. A lot of drone kills. This drop should be shut down. Ooh, no target, though.
Oh, he's out of range.
He's just going to absorb it with the queen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just to kind of reiterate the build, because I know a lot of Zerg's probably getting hyped and excited at home watching this. You get your second evolution chamber, it looks like, right around the time that your first +1 armor finishes. Then you can go right into the double upgrades afterwards. But this time, because he took so much damage, he's not actually starting those upgrades. He can't afford them. But just kind of like fleshing the build out further.
Dream has definitely made some good adjustments here. He's definitely like really keeping Rogue a little bit more on his toes.
He's using these Widowmines, which we weren't seeing before, and they're starting to really add up the damage, racking it up here, and is forcing Overseers to be made.
You know what, man? Look at the creep spread. It's still really good.
I think he's abusing the fact that even though queens can be mobile on creep, because he has to keep them all together, if he drops 2 places at once with Widowmines, it's just too difficult for Rogue to multitask that while keeping his creep alive.
By the way, Terran is actually up in supply.
Yep.
Although I guess judging from the build that Rogue's doing, that's actually not as big of a deal. It's not always just a supply. You got to look at what the unit composition is.
Yeah, so now he's going to do this harass to keep the Terran that has the larger army off his back. This is how this build is working out. I think he's going to have to make more Banelings this time, though, because Dream has such a large army. He's not responding with the Widowmines yet again, which is...
Yeah, what is the deal with that? Now, this is the phase where he can keep harassing these locations, which is pretty interesting. And I would dare to say I just don't think Terrans are used to this at all yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's so new. Needs to target that Widowmine. Oh, a bit too slow. No detection here. Okay, the Widowmine not actually doing that much damage. Could be targeting the queens, but he's working on these Marines, or could be targeting the medevacs. Over here, going to grab some queens. This is good for Dream. He's starting to snowball this game into his favor.
Yeah, he definitely is. Well, especially with these 2 medevacs out here, it's just not quite enough for him to handle the damage output. In fact, this could slowly turn this game upside down. If Rogue is not careful and doesn't take every single engagement properly, But again, he's targeting down this medevac, taking out a few of those Marines.
I think this is just too much army, though. He has baneling speed, but not an economy to create enough banelings.
He's also dropping, man. We're not seeing it on camera because there's so much going on, but there are still drops happening over at the Terran's base. Looks like it just ended.
You know, but in this game, when you're behind, if you keep dropping like this, you're really just throwing away units, which means you don't have enough larvae to defend to have to make banelings to stop pushes like this. This is the ground-based push that I wanted to see from Alive that we never saw, and we're actually seeing it now. It's so powerful, it's so scary. Widowmine's doing a lot of damage. You're getting a lot of value. And this build doesn't account for Widowmines very well, it seems. You know, he's struggling to deal with those specifically. The Overseer's here now. I'm like, oh, you're a few seconds too late. Good splits here by Dream, and this should end the game. There's no units on the ground.
You're right. Yep, that's the tipping point.
GG.
GG. We're tied up 1-1.
That's the kind of ground push I was looking for Alive to be doing in the previous series that he did not do. And that's when you get an advantage like that, he's throwing units into your base, the main base, you're dealing with that. He even made bunkers. You know, he's like, I'm tired of these ling drops. I'm not even going to turn units around. We can see the evolution of Terran players in this group starting to figure out what Rogue is doing because he's doing the same thing every time. Now's a time where maybe Rogue could not flip a coin, but do an aggressive all-in type build.
Yeah.
Because if he just wins it, he's out of the group. It's over. So he could actually put all the money, you know, on getting out of the winners match right here.
But by the way, I mean, we don't know how fast these Terrans overall today will adapt. I mean, you know that our other two Terrans in this group are watching this. I think it's very important that Rogue wins this here, unless he is very confident with this style of play that maybe it can work again. Let's assume that Alive moves on. It seems like Alive's in a little bit better shape than Ryung. Let's say he has to face Alive again. I mean, can Rogue keep this up? Each of these Terrans is downloading this style of play more and more and making those adjustments. Our final map for these two is New Gettysburg. The winner goes on to the round of 16 in the GSL Code S. Over here in the blue, winning that last game, tying this up.
SK Telecom T1, Dream.
Most people cheering against him.
Yeah, people really want to see a Zerg in the round of 16. And here is that one Zerg that could do it now.
Jin Green Wings, Rogue.
You know, stories like this don't happen very often in the round of 32, where you have one Zerg who's trying to advance. That kind of story usually is reserved for the round of 8. Like, okay, he's the last Zerg left in the top 8. We have a Zerg in the top 4. This is no Zergs have made it. We're in Group F. And he's the only Zerg in the group against 3 Terrans. We've got a new patch. He's showing us this new playstyle. This is like basically the best you can ask for story-wise in a round of 32 Code S group. I really like what we're seeing here. Awesome shot here. Oh, so sick.
Yeah, we're really stepping it up here at Africa.
I mean, that's like, that right there is what StarCraft 1v1 is. You're on the stage next to him. You're right next to him. You can't see him. There's a ton of people in a crowd, and you're up in front stage like that, and you're just so focused on the screen in front of you. I love that.
You know, people don't really point this out enough, but StarCraft actually is the ultimate dueling game.
It is.
This is the ultimate one-on-one game.
It's the fencing of esports.
It's the boxing, the UFC.
The UFC, yeah.
The UFC, man. This is actually the gladiator battle, right, where one of them has to die. This is This is like about as intense as it gets, man. No team play. Coach can't talk to you in game.
Yeah. You have this headset on your head, and I like to explain this to people a lot. The headset they have on their head is actually not outputting sound. It is blocking sound. What they actually have in their ears is like in-ear headphones that they prefer, like that, or like iPod headphones, right? But this thing they wear on their head means that they can't hear the commentators, they can't hear us. The crowd screams and cheers, and they can feel the ground shake, but they can't hear anything. All they can see is the game. Such an amazing, beautiful game we're commentating here. This is esports to me.
Well, you know, it's really interesting because this is like something really hard. I mean, we finally have the technology here, but like if they could hear the commentary, this would not be.
This wouldn't work.
This would just not work at all because he'd be like, oh, he's rushing me? Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to win a bunch of money now. This is like, but now we have this set up. I remember when we first got this new studio, I thought that they weren't in booths, and I'm like, seriously? I'm sure we're going to have sound issues. We have not had one.
I actually kind of prefer this.
I think it's cool. They're out in the open there. Just briefly to talk about this map, there's this long bridge you see here. This gives you fast access to their base.
Yep.
Considering it's a big map, so it's not that fast. But a lot of times you see this players try to control one edge of this bridge to snip that option out of the game.
So let's. It looks like Rogue is doing the build again for the most part. His link speed actually a bit late here, so he's going to lose these links, which is really unfortunate because part of these links are supposed to be in the drops.
Well, this is actually Dream adjusting.
Yeah.
Dream is saying, okay, he's getting these links on the map. I need to do something to clean this up, so I'm going to get these Hellions.
Yeah, if he has Hellions, he can stop the links from even be lifted ever. And he's actually going to do a Hellbat push. Look at this. I actually thought Rogue would be the aggressor on this map, but the Armory's on the way.
This is pretty smart.
Now, if he can deny this scout, that's the most important thing. I think Rogue already saw it. We didn't see, but he's making a Baneling Nest way earlier than before. So based on that, I'm trying to like draw a conjecture that means he did see the Armory. We didn't actually have a shot of it. And I don't know where it's placed in the main base. But
what is the Baneling's Nest?
Oh no, the Armory.
Oh, the Armory.
I don't know.
I'm
pretty
actually
sure
not sure what that is.
I'm pretty sure the Baneling Nest is a response to the Armory, but I'm not sure if Rogue saw it because we didn't see that on screen right now. But
well, he will have something to defend here if he wants to.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's got 14 links coming up here.
He's making a spine crawler as well. He definitely saw it. He knows what's up. Link's coming out as well. He's going to do this backstab
Here we go.
harass as well.
This is what he does, man. He is Rogue. He has backstab, man. 0 mana, 2 damage.
Okay, here we go. This is the spine crawler's not ready. If he can actually burst that down, this push becomes a lot stronger. But he's got more queens out here. This build accounts for strategies like this. All he has to do is make that adjustment. Baneling Nest goes up. He's setting up a wall here as well. This has been shut down.
And 2 SCVs killed already over here for Dream. Interrupted mining.
Yeah. And the transition point is a lot more difficult. He's already starting to get the stem, but he doesn't have the production to build Marines to do any sort of follow-up pressure. So now Rogue's third base, if he can defend this push, is basically going to be saturated for free. He made a lot of drones after he pushed that back, and that may actually end up hurting him here because Rogue is now, he's actually targeting that in the hatch. Okay, he backs off, but he can keep kind of poking, backing off, and
he
eventually
really wants to keep
down.
this hatchery alive.
He's got some transfuses. Oh, good splits against these Banelings. Those Banelings are pretty worthless. He's going to lose this hatch potentially.
Yeah, he needs to try to save this hatchery if he can.
He's got a few transfuses.
Kind of has enough here. Is he going to get that medevac?
Yes, I think so.
Oh.
Barely not. He was worried about his Liberator. He shut that down too. Liberators were really what this patch was geared against. The faster burrow time on the Spore Crawler, the Queen range. And it's very difficult to actually find damage with them right now.
Rogue is essentially unscathed from that attack. He didn't lose the hatchery. He didn't really lose drones.
Yeah, look at the supplies.
He took out a lot of very important units. In case you're wondering why that is stuck there, they actually have walls around the islands. They've been trying to push islands in StarCraft 2, and people just aren't doing it because in StarCraft 2, unlike StarCraft 1, you can really just drop everywhere at once early on. But for instance, with medevacs, it's not hard to drop 16 Marines into a location. So they have that set up there. We'll see if that becomes a bigger and bigger thing as we start to learn more and more about this map in general.
I feel like islands are high risk, low reward in StarCraft because of ground-based bases. There's so many available to you, and you can just simply take them so easily.
Well, especially with Zerg on Creep in this case, for instance. I mean, you could just get to your bases pretty easily.
So let's talk about why Dream's behind in this game. First things first, he doesn't have a third base. He doesn't have that available. He hasn't even started one. Looks like he's gearing up to do a follow-up push instead. He doesn't, because he lost his army with that harass without finding damage, he has no units. So the fact that he has stim is a moot point, because what is he going to stim? He can't attack anything.
Well said.
And so he can't put pressure on the Zerg, and that's where the Zerg always wants to be. So easily able to spread, creep, take a fourth base, tech up. Rogue is like in dreamland right now. He's in paradise for Zerg in ZVT, and he's just going to freely tech up, build his queen count, shut down these Liberators. This is going to find virtually no damage. Actually, in fact, literally none. One hit on a queen, that's all.
Okay, Marines drive back that Overlord. I'm not sure. Okay, I was going to say there's nowhere you can
but
drop
you can't
him.
Drop it. He's like, drop some Marine into the lake.
He just drops him into the pit. They're like, ah. He wants to get it over here, but this is like so well defended. Rogue is just already ahead of this. There's no way this is going to work.
He saw this coming a mile away.
Well, this is smart. You can see Dream is thinking, okay, wow, he's actually airtight down there in the bottom right.
He's impervious.
Yeah, he's going to have a totally different play style. Dream is going to have to come to terms with the fact that he's going to have to win this in a long game if he does win this at all.
It's going to be tough. Oh, man, this is not even close enough units. He can't even bring the medevac back. It's almost too risky with all those queens there. I mean...
And look at this, Wolf. Is this not a beautiful thing?
Yeah, here
now,
it comes.
Is Dream paying attention?
Well, he just dropped mules, but I don't think he's looking anymore.
Well, I think he might wait until he's actually attacked or some fights happening here, because that's usually when these drops are the most effective.
Yeah, well,
at this level of play, even if there's a red blip for a split second, usually at this level, automatically the eye just notices it and goes down there.
2 Overlords thrown away here, a bit of a mistake. But this drop is just like the idea that will never come to fruition. Look at this creep. I mean, it's all the way up to the top of the map.
So he wants to push up here. Now, note, guys, the Queens will try to target down the Medivacs while the Banelings come in there and do that damage to the ground.
And in this game, because of the flexibility, because he held that off, as it looks like no SCVs died here, but a lot of forced mine time. Here comes the second one.
Here we go.
Okay. But he just doesn't trap now. He just walks away, saves the Banelings.
It's good.
In this game, one of the different variations we have, or the different situations that we have here, is that Rogue got a much faster Baneling speed because he was more flexible to do so, because he held that push off so easily and there was no follow-up pressure. So that now we have Baneling speed so early that the follow-up pushes for Dream are, again, just tougher to execute. There's so many Queens here. He doesn't care, but he's just going to transfuse. Dream might find himself in a situation where he overextends again. Okay, but there's no support for these Queens. Here come the Lings.
Okay,
oh, he's going for the surround.
Nicely done. And he's still doing some damage to those Medivacs. Now, Dream has taken this base that's closer to the center. Let's see if I'm actually not even sure that Rogue knows about that. Does he?
He doesn't yet, but he has an Overlord very close by.
Yeah, there's an Overlord close, but I don't think we have SCVs mining there, so he might just not know.
It's being built on the low ground. Like, it's being built there specifically. It didn't float, so he'll get vision of it soon.
That he's building that down there. Well, as this game continues on, Rogue has deflected every attack that Dream's thrown at him. Right now, Dream still with a healthy amount of SCVs, so he hasn't been punished yet. But that's definitely possible later on. Here,
oh my God!
Beat me to it.
8
SCVs.
8
kills. Damn, Rogue.
So this harass is just, oh man, more SCVs.
My
the
God.
Second one.
Kerrigan is taking this guy out for dinner, man. This guy is.
Look at this guy. He's actually adding Adrenaline so early. He's 17 Banes because he knows Dream's going to try to win the game off this push. He's got backstab set up. Dream is almost checkmated in this game.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like he should not commit to an attack here because he has that fourth base, which is going to be so hard for Rogue to attack. He can drop it, but attacking it directly while the rocks are up is going to be a challenge. I think it's better to just try to hope for the late game, which is tough for Terrans right now because Terrans are struggling versus Ultras, but this base is pretty secure. I think don't put all your eggs in one basket and all in with this push. Just kind of poke with it, whittle the creep down, and try to find an answer for the Ultras, maybe in Liberators even. Burrow is done, by the way. He can set up some really sick traps as a result. He sees this base. He's trying to figure out the best way to assault it.
He might just try to tear this down. Yeah. It's actually always a good thing if you can just tear down this entrance here and then try to come in from there.
A lot of Banelings used. This is end up being a failed attempt.
Yeah, failed attempt. But he's at least keeping some pressure over there. Now, Terran's going to try to come in over here. Let's see if he actually has enough.
Now, in the Alive game where Rogue got Ultras, no dice.
No dice.
In the Alive game where he got Ultras, Chitinous plating was super late. +3 was late. The attack upgrades were late. Right now, Chitinous plating is ahead of the Terran's attack upgrades. +3 is ahead of the Terran's +3s. His Ultras are going to be even stronger than they were before. And this is a really tough composition to fight against as a Terran player in the late game. The Terran players haven't really even figured out the best way yet. This is such a new expansion. No one really knows the best way.
By the way, this hatchery is still pretty low. He's got to be careful here. The Banelings are going to come in. He's got the Queens. He's probably hitting that Medivac right now. Is it enough? He takes it out. Nicely done. Meanwhile, a big push coming through the center upper area of the map. The Zerg have enough to deal with this. I'm not totally sure.
He only has 3 Ultras, but he has so many Speed Banes here. This would be a mistake to stick around. Dream's going to have to pick up. He turns to fight. Splitting really nice splits here off creep, and there's 4 Widow Mines at the back. Let's see how they connect.
All right, he's coming in right now. He's just going to walk right over this. We don't see an Overseer there to actually kill those mines. He's going to have to get something there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he even realized they were there.
I think he does, right?
He must, right? I mean, that did a lot of damage to his army. He can't overextend like this because more than attack upgrades and how powerful Ultras are, if Ultras just can't swipe.
Now, he might actually want to try to do some Nidus stuff here.
You know what? That's actually a great point.
I think that because I don't know if he can actually get all the way across the map. You know what I'm saying?
This might end up being a Broodlord game if he can't, you know.
Broodlords would not be that bad, especially over that new Terran base that he's mining from.
Yeah.
But we don't have a lot of indicators that it's going to be like that just yet.
I think he's not going to try to reinvent the wheel here. He's going to try to go into Vipers again. That's my prediction here based on what we saw before. He has the Spire, as I feel like, okay, let's make some Corruptors. Let's see what happens. But if he had planned to go Broodlords as a transition, he'd already be doing so. He'd already have the Greater Spire on the way. But he has that option later on should the game go much longer. And this is a map where, Valdez and I talk about this all the time in Pro League. This is a map that I think the longer people figure it out, it will be a map that almost always goes late game because the bases are so close to each other. It's such a long rush distance by ground.
Look at this.
Oh man, this is massive.
He's going to traffic this through here, but I think this is the right play.
This is the air Nidus.
This is yeah. Well, this is because this is the same thing as a Nidus essentially. Is that you can just dump an army over here. It's kind of funny in StarCraft 2. The pathing's not great around those, by the way.
I think he's shift queued, and that's why it's happening.
They kind of bumper car their way over there, but he's going to set up, and this is going to be a pretty big drop coming in over here. Now he's going to be hitting from the top at the same time right now. Now one of those Overlords was gunned down, but he's getting the majority of these units out of the Overlords.
All right, well, this is still, though, because it was seen pretty early, this keeps Dream, back and on the defensive, and this is buying him time to get Corruptors out. Looks like that's what he's going for right now. I mean, this is what we did last time, too, before the Vipers. But this was not a damaging drop. 3 SCVs on a base that's not really mining. Pretty insignificant. But had Dream been late on the response, he would have lost a lot of production there and potentially some of his tech. Some of his starports, for example, so he can't make these Liberators. With all these Liberators out here, I think Vipers have become more and more appealing with the Corruptor support.
I totally agree. I think he's setting this up quite nicely. These little Ling Run buys are doing a lot, guys. They really are keeping...
yeah. See, he's going to lose this medevac because of the Ling drop. Because he's looking at his SCVs, he loses that medevac. This is why StarCraft is a game of multitasking. And by the way, Corruptors, I never thought we'd see a game where the Corruptors are used like this.
We made it, boys. This ability's being used.
I mean, it actually is one of the best ways to attack this planetary.
Yeah, the other half of the people watching are like, what is that? Well, now you've seen it all, guys.
This is a further pressure that Rogue can put on.
I love that this game keeps developing and it keeps changing. I just love that. This is what makes RTS so great, man. It really is. I think Rogue could set up for a killing blow, but we got to see. We got to see for sure.
You know what? I think he could actually just go for a blow up on that planetary, then back off. Small steps, baby steps, to the win.
Okay. Oh, good save.
We're going to Supreme late game here. High-sec auto-tracking on the way. He's going for the attack here on this planetary.
All right, he's coming down now.
There's too many Liberators here, but he's going to target a lot of them down.
Yeah,
the Terran is so well split. The Queens are not here. This is not a good fight for Rogue,
Is he going to get that command center? It's getting lower, and it goes down.
But was it worth it? Look at how many Ultras he's lost here.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Well,
the Corruptors can't do anything after the Ultras are dead. So if he kills all these Ultras, Dream has a counterattack opportunity. 6 Ultras on the way, and taking them a while to get out, but it looks like he will still actually be okay here.
Oh, Rogue just made a huge sigh there. But I think he's actually okay. He's got 6 more Ultras. Yeah, I mean, he's remaking this whole army, so. Oh my God.
Man. I think he's like, I think I've done it. I think I've done it.
There it is.
Wow.
You handsome, dashing Zerg. Look at this.
He needs to regroup, though. He's losing his Queens.
These Queens are going ham on the middle of the map.
He needs to regroup everything together. Killing that last Liberator here. They're all getting caught one by one. I think he's done it. I think Tasis is going to be the first Zerg to go on.
Oh, my God.
The only Zerg with his own new playstyle.
Yeah, the revolutionary Zerg.
He's going for it. These Corruptors. There it is, GG!
Zerg, wow. So cool. He did it. Zerg is getting representation in the round of 16.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah, man.
He's built his own new playstyle with this Queen patch. And
so happy for Rogue. He has managed to carve out his own place with his own style. Nobody's playing like this, although I think pretty soon everybody's going to be playing like this. Dream, as well as he did, and as deep as he got in the late game, Rogue knew how to set up the right unit comp and close this out. Wow.
Very, very impressive play.
Wowzers.
I was really, looking at that build, it feels like he knows how it works every single step of the way.
Look at this. We're getting photographs of Rogue right now.
Mom's taking a selfie on the GSL.
Taking a selfie.
She's about to post on Facebook. I was at GSL.
Where were you when Rogue got to the round of 16?
I was there live. Here's the proof.
All right, we're going to go to the interview now and see how Rogue feels after becoming our first winner here tonight. Our first Zerg player to advance is Rogue. Congratulations, Rogue. Thank you.
와, 이병의 이름 외치던 거 들었었죠? 네, 어떠세요?
Did you hear the fans cheering your name out? Yes, I did.
제가 원래 군단의 심장 32강 때는 연습 그냥 거의 안 하고 가도 올라가가지고 그래서
In Heart of the Swarm, I wasn't as grinding as hard, but I still managed to make it to the round of 16.
네.
그만큼
But in this expansion, I really trained hard.
네. 저도 같이.
I think my efforts paid off really well tonight.
테란을 이렇게 이기는 거 얼마 만에 보나요?
진짜
그렇죠.
네.
오늘 많은
It's been a long time seeing Zergs dominate a
얼마나
Terran.
준비하신 거예요?
우선 쉬는
And it looks like you prepared very well for today's match. Tell us about that.
보호기가 쉬는 날에
Yes, our team
날임에도 불구하고
has actually been on vacation. I didn't actually have a ton of people to practice with for this.
그래요?
네, 너무 고마워요. 또 성주도 먼저.
But I just want to say thank you to Mario and Cure especially, who helped me grind and practice
We
with
were
this.
talking about this earlier about they were the guys that he can train with right now on the best team.
어제도 보호기랑 하는데
They're the best Terrans.
8판인가 한 판도 못 이기고 8판 연속 져가지고
네.
오늘 못 올라가겠다고 생각했는데
I lost to Cure last night. I was actually very worried I was going to lose to Terran here today. But I got to say, I think I learned from my losses that helped me here today.
이런 결과를 만들어냈습니다. 자, 정말 경기력 좋았습니다. 이 마지막에도 타락기 정말 활약이 멋졌었어요.
네.
그거는 어떻게 그 전에
So you're using a lot of corruptors back there in the last set. Was that your plan from the beginning of the match?
중혁이가
Okay, so New Gettysburg is that style of play is good on that map.
네, 잘 막아서 되게 게임이 유리하게.
And I knew that Dream had some very special builds tailored to that map. But I was able to find a strategy and a weakness there, and I was able to counter it.
플레이가 되게 멋졌었거든요. 이것도 이 준비된 플레이였죠?
네, 우선 퀸 많이 찍고 하는 플레이어도 도우기가 그것도 알려준 거거든요.
그래요? 그게 좋은 것 같다.
네, 좋은 것 같다. 근데 해보니까
So
좋더라고요.
Kurt told me about this build where he thinks I should use a lot of queens, like make them an excess, and I've been using it. It worked out well for me.
그래요?
도우기가 진짜 너무 고마워요.
And the strat I used on Dust Towers against Alive, that's the strat. That's actually another strat that Cure let me know about. So again, shout out to Cure. Thank you for helping me.
That's awesome to see Terran players creating Zerg builds because he's played against something similar to this and he's like, hey, I've got this idea. You know, I feel like if you make these queens, it's very different for the Terran. Really awesome. And then Mario's probably just, he's not the mind behind it, but he's the mechanics behind like him practicing and training
제가
this.
알고는 있는데
He's asking who made this group.
아무튼
He said he really didn't like the group when he saw it.
하지만 이런 분위기
I feel like this group is just almost impossible for me to get to get me eliminated.
혼자면은 더 주목받아서 더 좋을 것 같아요.
그래요?
네.
하지만 16강 조지면식에서는
It's going to be good if I'm the only Zerg in the round of 16 because I'm going to get all the attention.
보일 것 같은데.
네.
그것만 아니었으면 좋겠어요.
네, 약간 이게
A lot of Terrans after seeing this new style I'm using are probably going to want to play against me. I expect myself to get picked out early on in the group selection for the round of 16.
이번 테란 3테란 조가 제일 고비라고 생각했는데 올라가가지고 16강 8강도 열심히 준비해서 꼭
I'd like to say that I'm very happy I made it to the round of 16.
자, 오늘
That's a
이런
3-Terran group. I was really worried about it before I got here. I'm going to grind hard, train hard, and bring some great games in the round of 16. So please check out my matches, guys.
네?
혹시
네,
야크 대표로서
네.
혹시 밸런스 담당자에게 해줄 그 메시지 있으신가요?
저는
네.
Anything you'd like to say to David Kim?
그래요? 그 말 딱 전하고 싶어요?
네, 그것 때문에 저그가 올인을 못하거든요. 그래서 테란이 그걸 믿고 진짜 다 배부릴 수 있어가지고
네.
물량에서 싸움이 안 돼요.
네. 밸런스 담당자에게 해주고
He says
싶은 말,
Liberators are OP
생명선이
right
너무
now.
사기다 이렇게 말씀해 주셨는데요. 다시 한번 16강 진출
And Zergs
축하드립니다.
can't all in.
자, 이렇게 오늘 F조의 첫
And the
번째
Terrans are able to hold off a lot of all-ins from Zerg. Well, and that's going to do it for our interview, guys. I hope he's not assuming that those 16 lings we dropped in there and all in, because you can hold that off with almost anything. But that style of play is really cool that he's using.
Yeah,
That's
really awesome.
I love how different that is from everything else we've seen.
It's really just cool. To me, like the most exciting thing I learned in that interview is like Cure is the brains, Maru is like the mechanics behind the practice, and you can see like this trifecta that's created to help this player, the only Zerg advance. Really awesome. And some people, I think, would look at this as a big upset. And I think the hardest hurdle is beating Alive. He beat Dream as well in a tough final game there. And hey, only Zerg in the round of 16.
That's right. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we're going to find out who will be eliminated first in tonight's GSL Code S. Stay tuned.
봄꽃책에서 듣다. 있는 그대로 맑고 깨끗하게 피어나라고 겨울을 이겨낸 봄꽃이 내게 말했다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성사이다.
짬뽕이네. 와, 맛있는 거. 근데 어디서 시킨 거요? 그거 시킨 거 아닌데. 어떻게 볶음 진짬뽕인데? 어떻게 볶음 진짬뽕? 볶음 뜬 짬뽕, 볶음 뜬 짬뽕. 와, 정말로 화끈하네. 볶음 진짬뽕 외에는 절대 현혹되지 마소.
나는 KT 기가 인터넷. 당신과 끊김없이 게임을 즐기죠. 어디서나 우린 함께해요. 어때요? 나랑 콜라보 하실래요? 당신의 KT.
메이플 스토리 2 신규 직업 스트라이커.
이거 좋은데?
답답할 때 마셔봐요 트로피카나 상큼상큼 과일 듬뿍 스파클링 리얼 프루트를 스파클링으로 과즙이 톡톡 쏜다 트로피카나 스파클링.
메신저의 혁신이다. 이런 실시간 라이브 움짤 기능은 지금 스노우앱에서밖에 없죠. 굉장히 많은 팬분들이 영상 메시지와 메신저를 보내주고 계십니다. 아프리카 원탑 역캠답게 이설이라고 메시지가 왔는데 길 가다 만나지 마라. 길 가다 만나지 마라고. 느낌 있죠? 리본 하나 찬 다음에 딸랑딸랑 고양이 섹시합니다. 외쳐 스노우. 헬라마
스타일? 상쾌하면 되는 거야. 상쾌함의 높이가 다르다. Stylish Sparkling Water 롯데 트래비.
네, 아프리카 TV와 함께하는 킹덤 스토리 연애의 신.
이거 사극을 찍는 것 같아요.
정말 안 어울립니다. 약간 왜소하고.
맞아요. 위초고 3국 대결.
장대! 나이스!
나 심쿵했어.
17,800원. 와, 군주는 무릎을 꿇을 수 있어요. 아, 뭐야 이거 어떻게 본 건데? 저에게는 간호 장비 같은 존재입니다.
진짜 유익한 게임이니까 여러분들 진짜로 많이 해보셨으면 좋겠습니다.
모바일 게임을 넘어선 액션 RPG 히트. 양 팀이 이제 정해졌는데 그냥 대결을 하면 좀 재미가 없으니까요. 탈락. 이선을 향해 쐈어요.
큐피트야 뭐가?
이 정도라면 4분 때 마무리되나요? 자, 이거 3대1 뒤에 들어가는데요. 유저 전체에게 깃털 1000개를 선물로 드립니다.
타이밍이 지금인 것 같습니다. 그만한 게임이 지금 모바일 게임에는 없다고.
힘찬 행사로.
기가 IoT 헬스. 올레 TV 켜고 퍼팅하고 바이크 타고 체지방 체크까지 실감나게 재밌다. 기가 IoT 헬스. 김지원의 KT.
오호, 물로 지금 거의 뭐 수분을 그냥 갖다 들이붓는 것 같아요. 자, 바른 쪽과 안 바른 쪽입니다. 차에 보여드릴게요. 내가 발라봤는데 대편. 앞으로 그냥 나도 찍어 발라야 될 것 같아요. 잘 봐요. 자, 이렇게 깔끔하게 아래쪽만 다듬어도 선이 딱 살아있잖아요. 선 라인 자체가. 잠깐만. 이런 느낌이구나. 허허. 오늘 여러 가지 제품들 올리브영에서 제가 지금 제품을 받아서 사용을 해봤는데 굉장히 좋은 것 같아요. 올리브영 제품이 짱인 것 같습니다. 고맙습니다.
올리브영 플러스 유소나 예뻐져라 뷰티 방송. 홈쇼핑 아닙니다. 첫 뷰티 방송 시작하겠습니다. 달콤한 꽃에 겹겹이 둘러싸인 듯. 여러분, 이 모든 제품들을 올리브영에서 살 수 있습니다. 새로운 네일 아트로 사랑을 표현할게요. 감사합니다. 고맙습니다. 세상에.
You chose the wrong side.
나는 KT 기가 인터넷. 당신과 방송국을 만들죠. 어디서나 우린 함께해요. 어때요? 나랑 콜라보 하실래요? 당신의 KT.
우리 올리브영에서 드디어 루이조를 변화시키기 위해 우리 아프리카와 함께 루이조 변화시키기 대장정이 들어갔어요. 이게 스타일 옴부 제품입니다. 피부 밝아지는 것 같은데? 와, 이런 게 올리브영 클래스구나. 러마띠. 와우! 영국 스타일. 근데 멋있네. 나가면 번호 따일 것 같은데? 여기서 마무리할게요. 우리 제품은 올리브영 제품이었습니다.
미소가 생기다. 화사함이 생기다. 건강한 하루가 생기다.
pH 8.0과 풍부한 미네랄로 핑크빛 생기가 생기다. 아이시스 8.0.
이제 모두 핑크하세요.
You're at the edge of desire, but you're reaching higher.
The edge of desire, reaching higher, Wolf. Those are the lyrics. And those are what our three players are trying to do right now. Reach high enough to get to the round of 16.
Now, the question is here in this losers match, one player will go home empty-handed. The winner will have to face off against Dream. But I'm worried, of course, about Ryung here. Alive played a very, very good series earlier against Rogue. Ended up failing at the end of the day. But Ryung's TVT looked very weak in the matchup against Dream.
It did. It really did. I hope that we're wrong about expecting Ryung to have some lackluster performance, but yeah, I mean, it was some pretty basic games where, you know, Ryung just got bopped by Dream. So let's see what happens in this. Now, the winner of this match goes on to the final best of 3. So there's 3 players left, only 1 slot remaining to get out. So if you lose here in a series, you are out of the GSL Codas. Your story ends. At least in this chapter of the GSL.
And there's no GSL until next year. So
that's right.
It's the very end. And for Ryung, who is not first in Star League, and his team is out of Pro League, this could be the last televised match. This best of 3 could be his last best of 3 until next year, if he stays in Pro Gamer. That's crazy to think about. Like, this could be it. This could be it.
I think Alive is supposed to win this. Am I wrong?
I think you're right.
I mean, Alive just looks really good right now. I mean, it would just be very, very strange if he did not move on. But yep. I mean, I'm all down for surprises. Let's see. And by the way, guys, if you're just joining us, that's too bad because you missed out. Because Rogue had an incredible new style, massing queens, using lings with drop to keep his opponent at bay as he slowly pushed the creep out, ultimately taking to Ultralists and Corruptors and crushing the Terrans. The only Zerg to advance so far to the round of 16 in this season, Season 2 of 2016 GSL Codes.
This is it for Ryung for the rest of the year. He has to advance here. It's the only tournament left.
All right, guys, let's see what happens. Map number 1 is going to be on GSL Rakshir. In the bottom right, our Terran player, perhaps the favorite.
Africa Freaks, Alive.
And in the upper left, perhaps the underdog.
MVP Chicken Maru.
I would say even more than perhaps here. Ryung was once, and I keep saying this, he was once famous. Famed for TVT, used as a TVT sniper in team leagues.
Dare I say, I think he's still famous. He's just like not the top tier guy he was before.
Well, nobody thinks of Ryung right now as, oh god, this guy has the sickest TVT. When people think of Ryung now, they go, wow, this is a great result for him. He's actually in the round of 32.
Go, I know Ryung. I know him.
Yeah, it's like I remember him. I remember who he was, and now everyone else's skill level has risen, and he has to rise with it to meet the challenge here to face Alive. As we go into a gas first versus gas first situation, after he is destroyed and totally dismantled by Alive or by Dream in that first game in our first series of the night, the second series he went for a Hail Mary, it failed. And I think it's time to kind of like calm down and reset, and try to play standard here again on this first game to see where he's at.
Yeah,
this is Alive's map pick, but still, I mean, it's a mirror matchup.
By the way, he actually sent an SCV across here early on. Not bad, actually. Normally, the SCV getting there is not that impactful, but the fact that he's making the command center on the low ground is really annoying because this SCV can start to harass that and delay that. That does force 2 SCVs for Ryung to be pulled off of mining to drive away that 1 SCV. But, overall, it's actually mirrored builds.
Yeah. Now, this is actually really interesting stats here. Stats on the screen sometimes are just kind of like this peripheral thing, but I want to point this out.
Sure.
Ryung is 15-3 versus Alive, because when Alive was playing in tournaments consistently back then, that was when Ryung was in his peak, and he was amazing at TVT. They hit each other in team leagues a lot. They hit each other in individual leagues. They're both Code S level players, playing Code S against each other a lot. And, like, look at these stats from, like, Heart of the Swarm down there. There's, like, so old, these stats, where they used to face each other a lot.
Well, these guys are both old school as far as StarCraft 2 goes.
Absolutely.
I mean,
they're OGs, man.
They're OGs. These guys were like little kids, actually, when we first started casting them. They're all grown up now, which is kind of cool to see. And, yeah, I mean, it'll be an interesting thing to see how this unfolds, because you know that Alive is hungry to go ahead and crush Ryung here. Now, you know what? When you have that much of a lopsided record against somebody, it can still be kind of scary to go up against them.
Okay, this is the 2 Reaper pool where you actually grab a unit. This time it's going to be the Reaper of Alive, but he does not end up escaping with both, so it's an even trade.
A little bit of an overextension, I think, there. I think there was, after he killed that Reaper, he probably should have backed off.
This is one of the weakest Reaper maps for TVT, because there's no secondary wall to jump up. You have to force your way in, and I think the idea was there, I kill his Reaper, then I can maybe get one and scout something. Then he hesitated, and he couldn't have made it in anyways, but an overextension, as you said. But still, like, I just want to point out this map, there's not a secondary place you can jump up like there is on, say, King Sejong, where you have
That's right. That's completely right. But I guess the Reaper opening just does limit the other options the other player can have, and it allows you, if you can get in there, to scout. So it can be worth taking it. Wow, that Hellion did not actually die. Kind of crazy.
Small victory here for Alive.
Yep.
He may end up dying in the end if Ryung chases all the way, but it looks like he's going to back off. 1 Reaper shot will finish it off. He's going to try to intercept here. This is one of the small, beautiful micro things you can do in StarCraft. And look at that. Just barely does not. And not controlling the Reaper. Like, these are the little things in StarCraft.
That's right. So that Reaper is going to go get repaired now by that SCV. Excuse me. A scan here. He does see that there's something coming out of that starport. He's probably going to guess that there are already Banshees on the way. Now, the Cyclone is out here. This is pretty ballsy here by Alive. He's going to try to intercept the Banshee while it's moving out on the map. Is he going to get it? Oh, here we go.
There you go. He locks on. If he saved a scan for this, he should be able to get the kill.
Ooh, good maneuvering.
Yeah, that was
good maneuvering there.
That was a really good move. By the way, I called Alive many joking names like Scan Demon and Scan Bandit because he scans so well. But I think it's really one of his traits in this matchup is he scans always at the right moment. His scans never miss. And
that's like a skill in of itself, because, you know, when you see these players, they scan and it's always where the army is. It's almost like a confirmation scan.
Yeah.
They always scan and get exactly where the buildings are. It is a sign of like a really strong player.
It's a sign of experience and knowledge in the matchup where you're like, okay, you should be here. Let me make sure you are. And that's why scans usually confirm where the army is. But sometimes the scan misses. It looks like, oh, he missed the scan. It's like, no, he wants to see if the army was there. And because it's not, now he can make a move. And Alive is very good at this, and he just scanned at the perfect timing to scout the Banshee Cloak, which forces a change here in Ryung's build. He canceled it and is no longer going to use it. So basically, he just eliminated the Cloak, if I'm not mistaken, from this game. So then he was able to intercept the Banshee, stop it from hitting. Like, it was a perfectly timed scan. Very well executed. Well worth the money lost from losing the Mule.
Now he's going to see that there's a Raven down here, and the Raven's become pretty popular early on in TVT because you just get so much utility out of it. I mean, auto turret can be quite handy. Having the point defense drone, it really pairs up well with the rest of the army. So it's good to see him getting that out here now. Let's go ahead and wait until we get a little bit further along here in the mid game to see exactly how they're both going to push.
Yeah. It looks like Ryung is gearing up for a much faster push. He has his stem slightly ahead, but more importantly, had it his barracks first. He's going to build up the army a little bit faster. As you can see, Alive is still building his.
Right.
And this is a map where we don't see mech because the 3rd and 4th base are much harder to take. You can see they're a lot further away than, for example, in Sejong. So we are going to see Bio versus Bio here, which is a very position-based matchup here in this TVT. Oh, going to lose a Hellion here.
Nicely done. Just picks off that one Hellion there. Stim is nearing completion right now. Very important. The Stim's going to be done a little bit quicker, for Ryung. I'm also curious to see if the gold bases are going to play a role here on this map.
Oh, denied.
Denied. Okay, so he goes in and takes out that Hellion. He'll land that command center in a second. And Alive doing a good job poking out here with the Cyclone to see what he actually can't get done here on the map. But I think both these guys showing a lot of respect to each other, nobody really overextending. In fact, we're about to see the first drop